Hi everyone, happy February. So it's 2nd of February and this month is a new month. And yesterday on the 1st of February, we went and saw the monks who had been traveling for I think 99. Today is going to be the 100th day of walking from Fort Dallas, Texas to I think Washington, D.C. That's where their walk is going to culminate, the Walk of Peace. So we went and saw them yesterday at a Baptist church in Chesterfield County of Virginia. So the crowd was really nice. People were very nice. People had brought their children, they had even brought their dogs, elderly were there, and it was so chilly. It was really chilly. But it was also heartening. People had brought flowers and food, and since the crowd was very big and we weren't allowed to go inside the church, naturally, there were too many of us, there were hundreds. So people were, passing the flowers forward, the food forward, and then after about 15 minutes of waiting out in the cold, and nobody was complaining, we were all very nice to each other. Um, the main monk, I'm forgetting his name, he came out. He's Thai. And Aloka was in the RV. He just had an operation, the poor doggy. He's actually from India. Aloka, the dog, is from India. And he took to the monks, so they adopted him. And now he's an American citizen, apparently, just like me. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so the monk came out and he gave a wonderful speech. He basically touched on the fundamentals of Buddhism, the very tenets that actually attracted me to Buddhism. I was looking for internal peace. I was a very chaotic child, the middle child. I had the middle child syndrome, so I was always angry and rebellious and whatnot. I didn't have mental peace. Oh, my light can be seen. Let's move this a little here. I didn't have mental peace, and when I joined Buddhism, they talked about how important it is to inculcate peace within oneself, and that's exactly what the monk was talking about. First, he talked about how, they give away the flowers and the food because people have really been giving them things. So, they are forwarding the love to others. But to find that love within, you have to first love the child within. And he talked about how important it is to be in touch with our inner selves, the inner child, and fulfill the needs of the inner child, And I say the wounded inner child. And we have to look within, because nobody is permanent in our lives. Everyone has to go, everyone goes. And nobody's perfect either. So if you think that so and so is going to make us happy, uh, it's a recipe for disaster because none of us are perfect and we all have our moods and, become victims of circumstances and whatever, So we have to be there for ourselves. And that's what he talked about. First, we have to be there for ourselves, take care of ourselves, take care of our emotional needs, what works for us, what doesn't work for us, and we need to know it, and we need to nurture the inner child, be like a parent to our inner child. He talked about how, when you get a bad thought, if you're not able to discern the difference between a good thought and a bad thought, and the bad thought becomes, from thought, it becomes a word, and it becomes then a deed, and then it becomes a habit. So there's something toxic happening, right? And then we cause our suffering to become another's suffering. So he talked a lot about things, and he in a very jovial manner as well. And people were listening, children were crying a little bit, but it was good. And the speech is there on their site. If you're on Facebook, I think they've really honed in on the Facebook aspect, and my Facebook just blew up after I came back home and I shared some pictures. But it's good. And it really touched people. The speech touched people, their walk. I mean, it's so bitter cold, and these guys are walking, these monks are walking. I don't care what religion anyone belongs to, they deserve our respect. And, it's inspiring, and it brought me back to the fundamentals of Buddhism. I'm not a Buddhist anymore, but in my, I think, lifestyle, I'm very much a Buddhist. I'm more pacifist, I'm a humanist. And sometimes I have a hard time forgiving people. That's by karma, I guess. But, I understand the tenets, because at one point he also said, like somebody came at him on a truck, revving the truck and honking, and the person looked very angry. And he said, yeah, even he's faced that kind of rage, that irrational rage that came at him. But he responded with a smile and a prayer. He prayed that this person would be wise, would let go of his rage, and that was the end of the moment. He didn't carry it forward in his mind. He wasn't stuck on it. It's something which is important to remember, especially somebody like me. I'm a Leo. I tend to remember things. Elephants can remember. That was an Agatha Christie book. Anyway, so I basically then, I was so inspired by it that I wanted to paint a Buddha. But then I thought that would be too cliched. Even in my journal for myself, that would be too cliched. So I came up with some kois and a lotus flower that, symbolizes what we experienced yesterday. My husband and I, Aman and I, went and we saw the monks, and it was nice, but there were so many people that you could barely see, but you could see them through cameras, other people's cameras. So we were we were all laughing about it. It was a good feeling. Sometimes Sangha doesn't have to be people of same religions. Sometimes Sangha is just people with the same wants. When we want peace, we want quiet, we want abundance for everyone, and people of different faith just get together and we want that. So that was the energy of that moment, and it was really lovely. We just soaked it in, and we came back, and we were all different. We were just all Americans of different races together there, in that moment for each other, and just soaked in that sermon. And hopefully we'll apply it in our lives. So, yeah, I basically, let me show you what I drew today. I was being lazy. I didn't want to do my YouTube, but then I decided I'm going to do it. So, this is the one that I've come up, and I generally tend to use acrylics for my paintings when I'm doing, any water scenes, anything that requires covering large areas. First I would do the background, and then I would come to the main characters and then do it. But this time I'm again going to do it in gouache, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm still going to share it on Facebook, because, I want people to know that just because we are artists doesn't mean everything turns out good or turns out the way, people think that, oh, look, she's an artist and she knows what she's doing. Many a times we don't know what we are doing, and we make mistakes, and those mistakes get incorporated. Oh, look, the paint is like stuck on it. And those get incorporated into other works, and they don't look like mistakes. Happens. So I was thinking I'm going to do these two kois. These two kois are actually from another photograph that I took many moons back. I think it was in 2016 or 2017. No, 2018 in Miami, the Miami Zoo. I took a picture of these kois. Well, the world was very different back then, wasn't it? This was pre-COVID time. So I'm going to draw this and paint, and from this point onwards, I will do a video lapse. Oh, before the video lapse, yes. Either this week or next week, I'm going to start my course on Mesopotamia. I have to put an end to my just playing around in my journal. And because I think people liked me doing various courses on other cultures and, the religious aspects, my viewership was better. And then my viewership dropped, which is also due to the political environment we find ourselves in. I'm just trudging through, I'm just putting my videos out. I'm working. It keeps me sane. It keeps me busy. And I'm not gardening. When I'm not gardening, I'm either reading or I'm making art. So I'm working on my course on Mesopotamia, and that's what I'm going to be offering in the month of February. I think mid-February I'm going to start the course, and hopefully it'll go on till March, because I really want to talk about my favorite deities. They're so primordial and they're so crazy. I love it. Just like us. So anyway, let's get to it. Okay, I'm gonna open up my journal, and you guys remember this. And I don't like her. From here, and I'm gonna turn it. And I'll just keep this here, in case I want to do any reference. And let's get to it. I'm gonna get rid of my face now. Okay. I do like my kois, but I don't like the lotus. Ew. Um, it is what it is, I guess. Okay, I shouldn't have. I should leave it alone. Seriously, I should leave it alone. Now I'll have to do some damage control. This is the time when I know that I need to leave something alone. And it will dry up in a bit. You know, it does. But I could use it. Well, okay. Isn't all that bad. Now I've given it a definition which I didn't want to. So I'll have to just bring this down. Here. This is something that can be done. So you can just take clear water. And that's the beauty about watercolors and gouache. While in acrylics, one has to paint over it, and in oils, you have to remove it. In gouache, you can just, pick up your paint. You just take clean water and you bring it down like that. And there you go. I can make it. Oh, I'll have to balance it. There we go. I seriously don't like this. But shit happens in art. Did I say that word? I'm sorry, guys. I've got a sailor's mouth. But maybe if I could hide it like this, you would see less of it. I mean, it's not that bad. I could work on this and make it less conspicuous. When I have to do a project, this could be my initial study, and I could just. No, I can't. But just put my ugly hand on it. But I could just remove this or put something else here. Yeah. But it's a good study. I mean, I like my koi. The koi looked nice. I could keep it nice and loose. I just went a little crazy on the side. And I'm quite sure somebody will tell me, I don't like the kois and I love your lotus. I don't like that lotus. I don't like to paint lotus anyway. But one has to try these things. And maybe I can do something. Maybe if I give it highlights and, splosh some color on it just to hide my irritation with this. No. I think I'm just going to put a sticker over here later on. The koi looks nice. It does need a little more definition on this side. So what I'm going to do is when it dries, and I'm just going to get my acrylic marker pen and just give it some more scales over here. You can't see the scales over here because it's all wet and glistening. So, and that's a reflection of water falling all over the thing. Could be better. Could be way better. But okay, first attempt. Not everything really pans out. Not everything is sold. And it is in my journal. And thank you for watching, guys. I mean, I hope you've got ideas that, you don't have to give full definition to your kois. You can have a lot of kois doing their things together. And, if I just bring this thing down a little more. I just need to wait for this thing to dry up. And if I bring this down, it could be a little better. But I'm going to be messing it up. Ugh. Okay, I'll work on it. And thank you for watching. It's so ugly. I don't like it. I'll see you on Wednesday with something better. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about it. Please like and subscribe. This is an authentic art channel. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly. You go through the entire process with me. And I think I'm going to just go and have a cup of coffee now. Peace out, guys. Bye.